Hey guys, it's Graham. What's cracking? Welcome back to the Midnight Ride. Whatever. I'm getting my intros mixed up on the channels. Haven't done anything over here in a couple of days, and that's fine. I'm also not rushing to spaz out and get my reaction to the new Fantastic Four teaser trailer out. Blah. I don't want to be addicted to YouTube. Like, obviously, I'm not going to rate the teaser trailer 2 weeks from now, but I don't want to be one of those guys that's like, I gotta stop whatever I'm doing and respond to this right now. My 6 followers need to check it out. But this is where I will just share thoughts like this. It has been 20 years since the Young Griffith, Chris Evans, Jessica Alba, Michael Chiklis Fantastic Four came out. And I've got a soft spot for that movie. I covered it on the main channel last year because we watched it with the kids, and it's fine. It's not trying to take itself too seriously, but it is trying to be campy and family friendly. And it came along right around the time, like, I think Spider-Man 1 and 2 had been out. I don't know which studio had it. I'm not going to get into all that. 20 years later, we're getting our fourth Fantastic Four movie and our third iteration of it. That said, it has been 10 years since the last one, which sucked. Um, yeah, so this is like one of their main properties, and the one that I think this is actually like the fifth overall uh, film treatment. Like, this is the one Marvel property that they just haven't been able to land right. And so that, coupled with all of the other problems that Marvel's had in the last couple of years, people were naturally apprehensive over this, and so then you've got the dedicated and entrenched types that you already know what their reaction was going to be, no matter what this looked like, and you've got the haters, you've got the anti-haters, and whatever. My authentic reaction is that it looks pretty good. It looks fine. There's been a lot of commentary over the new Ben Grimm, like what the thing looks like. I'm not 100% sold on it. The effects look really good. It's not the practical effect of the Chickless costume. It's not the heavily CGI of the Fan Four Stick costume. It is obviously an effect, but it's a very convincing effect. It's just there's something about the shape that makes it look smoother and softer than like the really rugged beat 'em up Ben Grimm Thing character. But this is called Fantastic Four First Steps. It is about like them figuring out their powers and all of that. Like, maybe he'll rock out and get even craggier later. I don't know. Um, but it looks cool. There's been a lot of comments about how like his voice just sounds like the voice actor's normal voice. It's not all like gruff and rocky. It is definitely noticeable. I don't have strong feelings about it one way or the other. I think it's fine. The robot that he's talking to in the kitchen, I really like the creature design, the character design for that thing, and it fits really well with the entire aesthetic that they're going for. It's not just that they're setting this in the 60s, they are setting it in a very, excuse me, like cartoonish looking 60s. Like, if you were a kid in the 90s and you stayed up to watch Nick at Night, like, this is what the opening credits of Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie looked like. It's a very stylized look, and I like it. In fact, I like that a lot. The way that the buildings look, the cars and everything. We get a brief glimpse of a car that I haven't gone back to like pause it frame by frame and look at what it is. It's obviously some high-tech creation of Reed Richards, but it reminded me of the experimental turbine cars that Dodge built in the 1960s. They were looking at building turbine cars as like an alternate to the piston engine to see if it was really efficient and cost effective, because turbines can run on just about anything that'll burn. The problem is they're not really designed for variable loads the way that piston engines are. You don't want to constantly be shifting and revving the RPM up and down. You've also got to get the RPM up pretty high to get the horsepower going. If I remember right, I read up about this years ago. And turbine engines have their max torque at stall, like at 0 RPM or at 10,000 RPM. The torque is the same, but you got to get the horsepower up high, or excuse me, you got to get the RPM up high for good horsepower to get moving. So they're not fast off the line. They've got really great top end speed. The other detriment is that turbines produce an insane amount of heat, and they were able to recycle some of that heat into like a reheating process for the fuel as it's coming into the engine. Ultimately, it was a cool experiment. It was a novelty. It was inefficient, and the turbine in the car was never going to replace the piston engine. But now that you've got all that car history into your system, they had a unique design, and the fantastic car that we get a very, very brief glimpse of in this teaser trailer looks like the 60s Dodge turbine experiments. Probably the most important tease of all, though, was we get a very, very brief glimpse of the outline of Galactus. Since all of these movies are in the same continuity, they're in the Marvel Universe, it remains to be seen what they're going to do with this story to get the Fantastic Four into the main chronology, or if it's going to have some effect on them encountering Kang. If this is what they look like in the 60s, how do we get them into the 2020s without severely aging them up by 60 years? I guess I was a little bit apprehensive about Pedro Pascal being cast as Reed Richards, just because he's not the kind of guy that I could imagine like having the convincing look. In fairness, I'll say the same about Miles Teller. John Griffith, I guess that's how you would anglicize his name. He's Welsh. His name is Jan Griffith, but whatever. The Welsh, right? He had the look down, and I enjoyed his performance. I just like him as an actor. Somebody in the comment section somewhere said, like, I know he's not an actor, but the guy who looks 100% like Reed Richards is Mitt Romney. And I was like, okay, whatever your feelings are about Mitt Romney, that is accurate. Like he looks like comic book Reed Richards, but I digress. All that said, it's all like, I don't really feel like in the trailer they tried to change Pedro Pascal's appearance at all. Like they gave him a haircut. He's still got the mustache and like a little bit of the goatee and everything. He doesn't look like Reed Richards. He looks like Pedro Pascal, but they've got him in a suit. They've got him walking around, just talking and what's the word that I'm looking for? Like exuding a certain demeanor, and it's fine. Like I'm not overly familiar with Reed Richards in the comics, so I can't give a comparison there. But he in the brief glimpse that we get in this trailer, like he looks very comfortable in this world. And he's got decent looking chemistry with Vanessa Kirby, who freaking, by the way, that's an inspired casting. She's an underrated talent, I think. She gets plenty of work, but she's more than just like, hey, let's put a hot chick in this role. Like she can act really well, and like as good as she was in Mission Impossible Fallout and in that Hobbs and Shaw movie, which was just pure popcorn fun. In the last Mission Impossible she was in Dead Reckoning, she had to play her previous character, and then she had to play Haley Atwell's character pretending to be her character with the whole Mission Impossible face mask thing that they do. And she's got really good acting range. I was like, okay, she's showing some versatility here. She's able to like to pretend to be herself. There's an extra layer there that makes it more complicated, and she does a great job there. So I'm excited to see her as Sue Storm. I can't remember the name of the guy who's playing Ben Grimm. It's like Ebon something. I believe he's South African, so he's got a name that I've only ever heard like once. He's done other Marvel work, but he was a side character in the Netflix Punisher TV show, which not a whole lot of people saw. So it's not like it's going to be a jarring adjustment for him to play a Fantastic Four character. And then the guy who plays Johnny Storm, his name is Joseph Quinn, who he got a lot of recognition for being in season 4 of Stranger Things, which I haven't seen. I've just heard of him a lot since then. He was in Gladiator 2. He was one of the emperors. And so he and Pascal have already worked together. It'll be interesting to see how they play two very different characters that also have to interact regularly in this one. But all of this is coming to say that the teaser trailer looks good, and a full trailer could convince me to go see this in the theater. Theaters are still kind of expensive here where I'm at, but that's because I live near the expensive one. I've recorded a video 3 or 4 times that like the audio just comes out bad about the movies that I'm planning to go see in the theater this year. It doesn't seem like there's a whole lot, and most of it is, like it has been for years, sequels and reboots and stuff. But I decided, like, I finally looked at the list and I said, okay, here's what I'm going to go see in 2025. I'm definitely going to check out Tron Ares. I'll do a video explaining that later. I'm going to see the final Mission Impossible. And there's this movie coming out in April with Rami Malek called The Amateur, which is an original property. And that looks really cool. And there's one more that I'm forgetting. I'm going to kick myself later when I remember. And I've decided to go see Marvel's Thunderbolts. I'm sure that I'm going to miss some context of some stuff somewhere just because I haven't watched a whole lot of the movies in the last 5 years, or I definitely haven't kept up with the streaming shows. So don't know any of that, but don't care. Like, I know the characters that are in it, and I want to see something with Bucky because he's my favorite character. So yeah, like, I saw the trailer for Thunderbolts. It's you could make the usual complaints about it. There are things to recommend it, and I'm interested in this Fantastic Four. I'm not going to be overly hyped about it and fake about it. I'm not going to crap on it because looking at it for what it is on its own, I would love for Marvel Studios to right the ship and make good movies because I spent a decade going to the theaters and just having a great time watching those. They completely crashed the ship for about 5 years there, and if they were to right it, that would be a great thing. So, my 2 cents there. Let me know what you guys think. Till next time, drive safe. See you out there.